This series is brought to you by Itana, Africa's first free zone for the digital economy. Go to itana.africa to learn more. We're currently onboarding the first 100 companies into the zone. Be the pioneer to shape the future of the digital economy on the continent. Apply to register your business in itana.africa. Today, we're discussing creating a sustainable and upscale talent pipeline in Africa. And this is a great topic, and we've had lots of people that have sent in questions, and we're truly grateful. And our guest today is Adewale Yusuf, who is the co founder of three tech ventures. Starting one is a hassle itself, but he's the co founder of three tech ventures, including Talent QL, Tech Point Africa, and Old School Africa. Old School Africa is an edtech platform that helps people learn the skills they need to build and grow the career that they want. And I'm Nkechi, and I'll be your host today. So here's Adewale. Everyone say hi to Adewale. Hi. It's great to have you here. It's great to have you here.
Thanks for
Um,
having me. It's good to be here.
Awesome, awesome. So for people that are joining in, feel free to introduce yourself in the comments. Tell us your name and where you're tuning in from. It's great to see where you are. So Adewale, I always like to start with a very fun icebreaker, and I want to know what's your favorite city in Africa? What's your favorite city? Like this is your best city.
So my favorite city in Africa is simple and straightforward. It's Kigali.
Kigali, really? Why?
Because I love Kigali. It's safe, it's calm, and I think uh is the place on the world where I feel the most safe. Whenever I'm there, I feel very
Oh,
safe.
nice.
The weather is okay. The weather sometimes is not too hot, it's not too warm, and I just like it. I like Kigali.
Awesome. Kigali is nice. Kigali is calm. I think when you're going from Lagos to Kigali, there's this sharp contrast in the environment. It's just so calm. Awesome. So it's great to have you here. Thank you for taking out the time. Adewale is actually on leave and we dragged him here and we're so grateful to have him. So we want to make it an amazing 1 hour experience. His mind is fresh. You know when you're coming from leave and your mind is fresh. So we know we're going to have the best point in this session. So I want to know what inspired you to co-found Talent QL and Old School? And how do you see these ventures contributing to building a sustainable talent pipeline in Africa?
So for me, and I mean, I've always been interested in the talent space and upskilling. And but one major thing that is interest that I saw was when you look at the numbers, when you look at all the data is pointing to the fact that Africa is going to be the future of work, literally the future of work. And it's so sad that this is like raw materials that people are not preparing for, that the governments are not investing in. And when you see other countries that have the advantage of having population like we do and having young population, we are actually we're the youngest. Africa is the continent with the youngest population in the world, and also the population are getting bigger. The average age in US is 38. The average age in Nigeria is 18. That's 20 years gap, and all the other part of the world are aging faster, and also we are getting younger. So when you look at the future of the world, and when you look at future of work as well, you realize like the it's going to be powered by Africans, and that's one of the opportunity I see. I used to tell people like, see, the honest truth is I'm going to make billions just being in the talent space, because this is going to be, it's one thing that the continent just have in abundance. We just have people, we have our young people. It's so sad like government hasn't been investing too much in some of those capacity building. And also when you look at the migration happening globally now, and that's why you see a lot of Africans going, a lot of Nigerians going to different part of the world and actually doing well, because when the talent is actually in a good environment, they don't have a choice than to flourish. So that's one of the things I realized. Like We need to find a way to refine this opportunity, refine this talent, and be able to make them a proper position opportunity. And there's no other way to do that than also to get people jobs. Talent cure at our school, we equip people by we train them, we equip people with the right skills, with the structured right skill, and also talent cure. We get people opportunity. You understand? We get the job, and we connect them to global opportunity. So when you look at both of those things, it's all about talent. One thing my team and I we used to tell ourselves, we used to remind ourselves is talent first. We focus on talent. It's all about the talent. And when we see talent, we go beyond just training, or we go beyond just job. We are seeing talent as a lot of potential. There are a lot of things we have in the pipeline that we are trying to see, like what does it mean to be a talent? How can we support the talent to be successful in the market? So that's what we're doing. And that's why I went into it, because I realized like when you have this type of opportunity and you have talent that is much more than even oil that we have, someone needs to find a way to refine them, someone needs to find a way to structure them, and someone needs to tap into that opportunity. And that's what we are doing.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And it's true. I mean, people talk about our population size and our young population and see that as great potential. But even in the midst of that, I imagine that it's been quite challenging doing what you do. Like, yes, the opportunity is there. And yes, some of the resources are even there. I wouldn't say a lot though, but some resources are there to help develop the talent. But it's still challenging. So, what are some of the challenges you've experienced in growing old school and talent QL? And despite the fact that your what you're doing is quite visionary.
So there are always going to be challenges. There's nothing you want to do that there won't be challenges. And for me, I just see some of these challenges as also opportunity to go forward and do some things better. And one of the major challenge we do is number one, when we started is how can we make this affordable? And the skills, when you look at everywhere in the world, the cost of what we are doing, what we are making affordable when it comes to the old school side is expensive to train some of the people in these skills. We just launched our cybersecurity. We know what it costs for someone to be able to be trained in such skills. However, we had to come together that what is the best way. If we make this thing physical, can we sustain it? It will be too expensive. So we find a way, like, so affordability was one of the things we addressed, because right now we're in Africa and we charge very low as $30 a month, and it's so expensive for people, you understand, to give those money for some people. But we had to look at it like, what is the affordability? We're able to find a way around it. And also, the next thing is, can people stay online? How can we motivate people to stay online? Because the most important thing is, it's about motivation. How will people be motivated to stay online? How will people be motivated to stay till the end of the program? That's another thing we built, which we find a way to plug in some community. Then the third thing is, how do you even convince people to give you money to build some of those things? Especially when you see stuff that is going on the continent right now. A lot of founders are facing challenges because the market is not just what investors are excited about. And when you look at some countries like Nigeria, we experience like 100% inflation. I mean, I don't want to build the I don't want to put number into with the inflation or whatever it is. But also when you look at our currency and everything, like 100%, it actually devalued by 100%. That's a lot for investors to take in. And also, this is not just happening in Nigeria. Look at what is happening in Ghana. Look at what is happening in Egypt with over 67% in less than a year as well. So when you look at this, it's challenging, especially when you're building for Africa. It's so frustrating. Everybody love what you're building. They see the growth, they see the progress you're making. But when you look at it and they say Africa, they start looking at it like, what's the prospect? You understand? And so that's another thing. Then also the last thing, which is even getting people job. One of the things we have to fix is, what is trust? You know, when you look at the market like India. India has been investing in jobs for a very long time. They've been investing in their people for a very long time. So it's very easy for the entire world to trust India, to trust Taiwan, to trust Indonesia, to trust these people because these governments have been actively investing in this thing. But when you look at our own, what we are known for out there, a Nigerian is known for, we're known for fraud, we're known for this, we're known for that. Now you have to convince the, when you look at our talent cure deck, for example, the first two paragraph of our deck is not even about uh are we still on? I think we lost Nkichi. Oh, you're back.
Sorry, my internet is a bit frizzy,
Yeah.
but
Okay. Okay. I believe people will say so. All I'm saying is when you look at it, the last challenge, which is on the talent, which is on the trust. Trust is one major thing. You understand? When my deck now, I had to convince people like, oh, this is what Africa is. This is what Nigeria is.
yeah,
This is the potential. Even before I pitch my business to anybody that want to any customer, and our image out there hasn't been one of the best. You
yeah,
understand? Image out there has been of fraud, has been this, has
yeah,
been. How do you now convince people like, hey, you have to go get this? And we're so blessed that we have some exceptional talent that when they got into this company, the company, oh my God, I love this. At the end of the day, I need to be part of it. However, the trust is still low, very low out there, and it's making the
yeah,
job. And now in the market where there is a global crisis when it comes to jobs, you understand? It's happening in the US, it's happening in UK, that's happening everywhere. So do you now think so for us to now even be pushing Nigeria, be pushing Africa, it get to be it's tougher. But a
yeah,
lot of things will get better if all of us work together and all of us are able to represent. Also, when you see the migration, the jackpot thing that is happening, I think there's going to be some part of good part of jackpot eventually, where some of our talents will be out there, they will represent us well, which is another conversation entirely we need to fix. But trust becomes a major issue. And I'm so sorry to say, but the governments are also not making that easy. And also, a lot of people that are representing us in different places are not that easy. For someone like me to be going to different places and people say, "Oh, you do fraud or something," or like it doesn't make sense. But I understand because everybody listen to one side of a story eventually. All right.
yeah. I completely see that. I mean, right now, building anything, building a startup, building a business right now in this current economic situation is really, really tough. There's so many hurdles, and like you said, the trust barrier being super, super low. I don't know if you can hear me. My internet is coming in and out. Can you hear me okay? Okay, awesome. Thank you. You can hear me. Awesome. Just my internet has been coming in and out. So if it's a bit erratic, and I guess maybe this is one of the problems as well, just the infrastructure to be able to do what you're doing might not be readily reliable. Um, okay. Awesome. I think Diwali may have dropped, but he'll probably join back in. Probably also internet as well. But yeah, really tough when it comes to building in Africa. And Africa has this great potential, but it seems like there's so many hurdles to cross to be able to even get to where you're going to, from the regulatory part to the lack of government support and sometimes even government hindrance to what you're trying to do, to the reputational issues that we struggle with as a country and as a continent, and then just trying to build from that. So it's not really easy building a business. And some of the feedback that we've even gotten and some of the questions that were shared were around how do you build when it's a very difficult environment, and how do you even do manage your talent and build a great talent pipeline when the environment is really difficult. In the meantime, please keep sending in your questions, sending your questions so that we'll be able to, he'll be able to address the questions. Just checking. Awesome. So just keep sending in your questions. Let me check in to see. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Just checking to see because I know my internet was in and out. Yeah, so we have a few questions that come in, and what we've seen is people want to understand not only the challenges of building in Africa. I think maybe they're trying to see if it's unique to them or if there are things that runs across. And what we've come to find is there are challenges that runs across for different businesses, from being able to access funding. Adewale mentioned how even in doing his deck, he had to convince people of the potential of Africa because they were afraid of it. They don't have enough knowledge around what it takes to build a business in Africa. And that's why we even started doing Business in Africa series, because we saw that there's some curiosity about the continent, but not enough education, not enough information for people to feel that they can commit resources in terms of time and funding to it. And we felt that if we were able to educate people and shed more light on what the continent looks like, that would guide them in making better decisions. Yes, Africa has this huge population, has this great potential, but then it feels like we're not actualizing that, right? And people want to understand why that is. We also hear of companies that are moving out of the continent, and what could that potentially mean. So this series helps people to learn across different topics. The last one we did was on the venture capital landscape in Africa, and I thought that that was really, really informative, as Maya talked about how venture capital has changed and how founders have had to adapt. And I think even Adewale is mirroring some of that. Hi, welcome back.
I
So it's not just my
I
internet. So
I
it's
I also experienced some difficulty with the internet, so I think internet.
yeah, but it's also part of the problem. I think even in you're building the digital workforce for the continent. Lots of the courses that you do are, these technical skills that require basic infrastructure for them to work. And this infrastructure is from the hard stuff like the computers they would need, but also the soft stuff like connectivity. How would the talent here serve a global market if they're having like connectivity issues? I experience it even in my work, and it's not easy building when you have those limitations already. And you as a company, you can't rebuild the internet infrastructure just because of your business. It's going to be very capital intensive to do that. But those are some of the limitations that I imagine that you've experienced. There's a
Yeah,
question that's asked here that I wanted to mention, and I thought it would be really good. It was sent in. We got questions that were sent in during the registration process. I'm going to share a few of them as well. And this person had asked if you could share some success stories of individuals or companies that have benefited significantly from old school. So this is a question that came in. Just
so for us, and I mean like our for us school, since we launched, a lot of things have shown. Like our students have gotten a lot of jobs, and it's right there. It's even on Twitter. We share some videos on LinkedIn, on YouTube as well. But also one of the ones that I'm impressed with also is a lady, a young lady that joined us. She just never left secondary school and she joined art school. And after that, she hadn't even gone to university or something. After that, she got a job, a remote job, and also she's doing well. She's not the only one. There's also one person from OAU that was part of our program, got a job remotely in the US. And here's the thing is, those people, they just every day on our Slack channel, my team posts story of people. I still woke up to some of them this morning, and this motivates and encourage me because right now most of my in the next 18 months, coming out of my leave from next week, my next 18 months is dedicated to getting more jobs onto the continent and to our people. And that's one of the reasons why we are set up. I mean, we have an office in the US. I'm currently in the US here now. I'm back in Nigeria next week and stuff. But one of the things we are trying to do is how can we get more opportunity for people? How can we let the world know that our talent are also good and can compete on a global stage? And how can we build the trust? Because also sometimes it's trust is people you can touch, like, hey, how close are you to
Yeah.
us? We all accountable for whatever goes wrong. And so those are some of the exciting things. I mean, check our page, the stories are always there. But also one important thing everybody needs to know is everyone is going to pass different paths. And sometimes people that we've seen that are successful at art school are people that are dedicated and contributed and decided that they're going to be exceptional. And there's no two things to it, which is it's about personal commitment and conviction and commitment. So how do I want to commit to this? What do I want to do myself? It's what separates everyone, winner from losers, and winner from maybe not loser, for just people that are there. And just so no, today you can go and you say we can't do much. The honest truth is we're trying to do much more, but we really can't do much more than what we're doing. The best way is, can we bring you something that is global standard? Our instructor,
Mm.
our content creator, these are coming from some of the best companies in the world. You understand? The cybersecurity, for example, one of our mentor, one of our instructor is is one senior security expert in company like TikTok. You understand? So these are people that we've invested in bringing these people in. But no matter how much we do, is actually personal conviction. Then the other one also is, so we have this program we call Pipeline where we train advanced talent as well. And we've seen talent that started from nothing, that just earning maybe like 300,000 naira to earning like 5,000. We've even seen our first cohort, most of them actually got job in the UK, and that the company moved them from here to there. And some of them have traveled around. So most of these things is possible. You understand? And we are working hard to make sure they are possible. For me personally, I just believe in the talent. Even though it's difficult for other people to see, I just believe like when you have a population that is like this, is a is a ticket time bomb if we don't fix something about it. And right now, when you see a lot of people still going to, I mean, most people will go to school, but when you see hundreds of thousands or millions of people we are graduating every year, there's no opportunity for them in the market. People are going to, a lot of jobs are gone that never coming back again, even in the US, even in the UK. These are some of the developed economy. They're not coming back again. What job will be there is the next thing we want to do. We will always keep up and be giving people the job that will be there, and that's our goal. What can you learn within 6 to 1 year, 6 months to 1 year, that you will change your career as much? Yeah, that's it for us.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's really important because now looking at the future of work and how things are changing, I want to ask this. So we have lots of some global founders that are trying to learn from this. What would you recommend, or how can a global founder looking to expand into Africa leverage the talent pool effectively? Because there's this opportunity, and some of them are curious as to how can they even tap into it. So, what would you advise? How can they do that? How can they leverage the local talent?
Okay. So for most testimonial, this thing I've dropped our YouTube channel. Some of the videos are there. So, and for people that want to expand into Africa, I've tried a bit. I've gone to some places, and one of the things I always see is I always see some international founders as well. That always, oh, I want to go to Africa. They just thought Africa is just a dark continent where my solution here will just work there. And one of the things I always do is no, it doesn't work that way. You have to understand people. And for people, for any founders that are looking for talent that want to expand into the market, please talk to us. And but one thing I've seen in the expansion, I think people get it wrong when they wanted to enter the market. I also made the mistake when I was trying to enter Rwanda. wasted time, money, until I realized what we need to do. Until I learned, I got burnt, then I learned, then I fixed. So entering another market like Kenya and do some of the other new market for us was easier because we know what to do. And one of the major thing people always do, oh, people need me there, people need me there. No, but there are regulators in the market. No matter what you do, there are a lot of culture, uh, the culture differences, no matter where Nigeria, Ghana, we're different. Nigeria, Cameroon, we're different, no matter how close we are to the border. And so is Kenya and Rwanda. So you need to understand those culture differences. And one of the things I always advise people is the first thing you need to do is a legal team, a compliance team. Maybe you can work with one, you can get consultant. But if you want to tap the talent is there. Reach out to us at Alt School or Talent Cure, and we'll be help you get the talent. But if you want to expand into a market, and talent is not the only thing you need to do. But also one of the things we are helping people to do is at Talent Cure, we help company set up a remote talent where you don't need to worry as much. We're a US company, so we can accept USD, and also we can take care of the talent from health insurance to giving them the work to as much as possible. So you don't have to be worried wherever you are, you continue to do what we do. And we're looking to do more of that, where you can have your remote talent in Nigeria. Because also one thing we need to face also in Nigeria is affordability. And I remember there was a time like Nigerian talent, we haven't hit the main mass market, but we started getting unnecessarily expensive, and we just started getting expensive. And you see the same Nigerian talent in Nigeria charging as much as the talent in San Francisco or New York will charge. It doesn't work that way. Nobody will have an incentive of going over the border. And that's one of the reasons why we actually started Alt School. Like, let's democratize this thing. Let's the bread and let the meal go round instead of one person just eating the whole thing as much as possible. So, and that's one of the things I always want to tell any talent here. The talent should know that this thing is not about big getting great. It's about getting it, making sure it goes round. And that's all we are doing as much as possible because we are not going to win if few people are getting the opportunity. We're going to win if many people. The reason why people go to India today and some other markets is because even if one person, an Indian, you use maybe on Go Upwork or some of these platforms, mess up, you will know that it's that person, not the country of India that is just messed up. You know, you will see another talent. But Nigeria, if you see any Nigerian just messed up, everybody, oh, that's how Nigerians are. No, it's not. But we just need to get there. So that's one of the things I have to say. Like, hey, you have to and reach out. We'll be happy to help as much. I'm on Adewale Yusuf on LinkedIn and also at Adewale Yusuf that's called on Twitter. We will always happy to help you set on talent.
Awesome. Awesome. I think that's great. And then you talked about um, pricing, like for talent. I mean, I understand that some when people look at Africa, they just assume that the talent will be cheaper. But sometimes when they try to compare skill for skill, they try to match what would my talent attract if I were in a different market. Isn't that also a way to look at the way local talents should view their own skill set? Should they
Yeah,
price it differently because they are here in Africa, or should they look at it based on what the market should be offering them for their own skill set?
it's not about the market. And one thing I can tell every talent here is, and please, anybody can hold me accountable to this at the end of the day, because I've gotten to a place like I have to face it, and we have to face the reality, and we have to talk to it. Is uh, you need to know like it's about the market you are in, because if you are charging the same pricing that someone in New York, because you are in Nigeria, there's no incentive for them to give you that opportunity. You understand? Because if anything, there will be tax break, there will be a lot of things for them to keep this. And when you also look at the market, some market like Indian, Indian talent are getting affordable than Nigerian talent. Let's say the truth.
Hmm.
So opportunity will continue to go to that place. And when you see one of the biggest semiconductor place in the world now, where they are building semiconductor place, is in Taiwan. You understand? People are going to these places because affordability of talent. And also, when you look at even the way China was able to build, they built on the affordability of talent. We should
Yeah.
keep our pride and just know, like, the most important thing is let's get the opportunity. And
Well, African
you know,
talent is a bit, price for price though. It is not as expensive.
see, I'm speaking from a place of data. I've seen some talents that I've seen some talent. Sometimes talent are not that disciplined. You understand? I've seen talents that we pay $8,000 that a client in the US is giving as much as possible. You understand? And they still do any and some of those things.
Mm,
And when I'm talking about affordability, the honest truth, let me tell you the truth. My job, my job in the next 18 months is, can I get 5,000 to 10,000 jobs that are going to pay people $1,000 a month? That's all I want.
mm,
I'm interested in that than looking for people that are going to be getting $10,000 that I'm going to see 10 of them. That's not market. Let me give you an example. If we have clients, I'm able to hit the market, I'm able to get $10,000, $1,000 for 10,000. That's $10 million a month coming into the
mm.
market.
And the
So
impact
for
is
me,
spread amongst more people
exactly,
because then
more
it's then
people,
across
that's
more people.
10,000 home. Do you know the economy that they will create? Do you know what the impact they will create in the economy? And don't forget, that's almost 1.4 million, 1.5 million a month. Is reasonable because sometimes we see this and see any senior talent here as much as possible that you are hearing this thing. I'm not against you. I'm not saying that's not it. But for me, I just think when I look at the continent of Africa, we need to go for the masses, not just the small people. We need to find a way to trust that people can wake up today and they say, give me 100,000 talents in Nigeria, give me this thing, I want to do it. It's easier. And some of these things for me, we I bottled it in, for example, for a very long time. And there are some of the things that some of the talents have messed up. There was a client we lost and talent cure. The client, we got two talent for them, and they were paying 6,000 to $7,000 to this talent a month. Do you know the weird thing this talent did? They didn't leave their job in Nigeria that was paying them like 400,000 naira or 500,000 naira. And when the client caught them, they actually let them go, and we lost the client itself. You get what I'm saying? Because sometimes, see, that thing, I still don't know what happened. But all I'm saying in talent is, see, we need to all work together to build this trust. We need to also understand our advantage. Now is our opportunity. Can we get 10,000? Can we get 100,000 people? More than 3 million people in India work remotely for US company. More than 3 million
Yeah, yeah.
remotely.
It's
People, not the Indians
they're
here.
obviously more advanced than we are. Yeah, like they're more advanced in talent export. I think that's
They've
even how I would put it.
invested in it
They're,
for a very long time.
yeah,
We haven't.
yeah, yeah.
We
They're
have.
more advanced in talent
We are
export.
not.
But
See,
let's also talk about
yeah. Yeah.
um,
Let me.
talent in terms of like a like an organization. So lots of the people that are tuning in are like founders thinking about even the talent within their own company and how they can make sure that their teams are upskilled with the relevant skill sets that they need. Because I think we're at a very in like a very very significant point in time in history where technology is advancing very very rapidly, right? So for the knowledge that you have just a year ago, now it's obsolete and companies are wondering, how can I make sure that my team has the relevant skill set to be able to compete in this current market? What would you recommend, or how do you think a company should approach, setting systems in place to ensure that their team are always upskilled?
Okay, I think what we do is I will speak into our own companies. We have a budget. We have monthly upskilling budget. Because also there's something I've known for a very long time that people always say, hey, what if I train this person and he leaves? Or the person leaves. Well, what if you don't and the person stays? And you are not, it's going to affect your productivity. So what we do is I
Exactly.
think company needs to every company needs to find a way to have budget, no matter how small you are. Have budget per person, hold them accountable. Their line manager or you, if you're the one managing, they should be they should make sure those people are accountable and taking their classes, whatever they're doing. Also, for us like old school, we are working with companies now that want to invest into their talent. And you will be able to invest into your talent because if you train the talent will still go, or if you
Mm,
don't, they might stay. And but within that period, you will benefit, and also you will find a way. You can even use some of those trainings as a retention opportunity for you to retain the talent as much,
yeah.
which is something we are trying to work on to see how we can work with companies that we can find a way to make sure we put their our program into their retention program so that can
Hmm.
actually re- retained. For me, I can't take talents that are not innovative, talent that are not growing. I can't stand it. So I can't afford not to train my people because even myself, I'm getting trained, I'm getting equipped every day. So what you need to do is you need to have a budget. We need to have a budget, no matter how small, no matter how big. You need to have a budget per head every month or every quarter that people need to go through. And also you need to have a pipeline. And there's something I
Mm,
learned from one of my one person in the US here that taught me, like there's difference between recruitment and hiring. So you as a
okay.
founder, you need to continue recruiting. What does recruiting mean? You just need to keep talking to different talents. Right now, at the company, we now have even my people department, my HR department, they have a pipeline. Some talent are just in the pipeline. Like if we need anything, we'll get to it. But as a founder too, you need to keep having a pipeline. Pipeline means
Okay.
you keep talking to people, you keep talking to people. When you see a good talent, you keep talking to them, you keep engaging them. When you need them, it's easier for you to go and convince them. So that's now when you do hiring. But
Sort of like raising funding, but now raising talent.
exactly. It's the same thing. You understand? Because also you need, trust me, when you get to a stage, you need talent more than you need funding as well. Because for
Yeah.
people like me, for example, we go to a place that the most important thing is talent. You have to make sure you remain talent. And the way you need to do it. So as much as possible, try to get talent. I have a rule at the company, which is I don't might not apply to anybody, which is number one is I don't beg people to stay. Uh, and personally, in my personal life, in my company life, and I've been running businesses for like 10 years now, tech points everywhere. The moment someone wants to go, encourage them to go. And also, what you need to do as a founder, I'm saying this as a founder, is you need to find a way to make sure everybody is evictable, including you. One of the reasons that I went on a leave now is, can I also be evictable in the company? Which is yes.
Mm,
Now, can the company run without me? Because if you want to build something exceptional, something that will go beyond you, you need to make sure you build that. And you need to find a way that the pipeline, the next person is learning what the next person is doing. There's communication, there's this thing as much as possible. Because now that I went on leave, I'm back, I realized that, okay, if tomorrow anything even happened to Adewale or I see something else I want to, I step down and move. And I've done this before. At Tech Point, I left Tech Point in 2020, over 4 years ago, and they're still doing fine and then going strong. And that's
they
one of
didn't miss you.
you understand. That's one of the things they want to do. Like you have to make
Yeah.
sure, or you need to know how to build a process for every of your talent.
Everything.
I don't want to
Yeah. And
go.
that only works with credible, reliable talent, right? You can't, the reason you're able to do this and take time off is because you also have people that can hold the fort, right? And that doesn't happen by chance. It happens by development and investments to get them to that point, right? So I think that's really important. There are a few comments that are here. I want to highlight one from Omar Eze Okoye. Says, I agree with Wale. I also believe the reason why the talent pool in India is more advanced than what we have in Nigeria is also because their government subsidizes talent education, unlike Nigeria, where people suffer and pay in full to train themselves. With the issue, the talent gets with this issue, the talent gets greedy and tries to make all their investment back from a single client while they haven't mastered their craft, which I get. I mean, you also mentioned, even trying to look at pricing for what you do. So on the back end, you're probably taking some hits where companies like yours in other developed economies price way higher, but you're looking at the economy where you are. But if the government was subsidizing what you're doing, then not only can you impact more people, but you can also, your books would also look much better. But do you see any government support? This is your field, so you probably know more. Do you see any government support in terms of educating the future talent workforce? Do you see anything like that happening in your space?
I think government is Nigerian government, for example, started making some effort recently, which is with uh what's the name of this program? 3MTT kind of program, where we support, but also I
Mm.
know a lot of things. We need to do a lot of things. A country like Nigeria, a continent like Africa, need to know like we are in a. I try not to talk much about government, but also what I'm saying is we are in a place of we're kind of in emergency kind of state right now because all the education, most more than 60% of what people are learning in university are not relevant again.
Very
They're not.
true. Very true.
Trust me. Here, even I spend some time in the US these days, and I attend some of the big education conferences where people are talking about the future. And people are better. Even the traditional university, the Harvard, this thing of this world, they are changing. They're trying to say, hey, what is next? How can people evolve? And government is looking for the future because, but we still stay in a place where people are learning. I don't want to mention any this thing. So we have thousands of people learning. I try not to mention. Let me just not mention what they're learning. Uh, but we still don't know that there's a fire on the mountain. You understand? There is a problem. There's a major, and it's not something we can control. See, literally, in the last 16 months or stuff, the entire world has been running up and down because of AI, this, AI, that. A lot of things are being automated, jobs are being gone. Just like people laid off a lot, and they laid off globally. And when you now bring it down to a market like ours, that we are not creating that much opportunity. The highest GDP per capita in Africa is in Mauritius, which is like $11,000 per capita. Nigeria is like 2,400.
Mm.
You understand? Let me put that in context. A place like US GDP per capita is like 79,000. You understand? And so you will question like, what are we doing with GDP? Where are we creating jobs? Where are those jobs going to come from? With this our
Yeah.
population that is growing, young population that is growing. But but I just think like this is time for government to step up, not try to compete or anything, but enable. Like the best way is not even for us to just get job. The best way is for us to produce job, provide jobs. You understand? We need to
Mm-hmm.
get a lot of entrepreneurship opportunity. We need to educate. We need to enable them and stuff. And the honest, I try not to talk much about government, what government should do or not, because the honest truth is, maybe I don't know what government should do or not. You understand? But when you look at also one of the places where government creates opportunity is lower interest rate. And in a country like Nigeria, we have 30% interest rate. That's madness. Nobody will want to put their money to work. Let me just put my money in the bank and my interest is enough. So there are a lot of things to do with the government, but I think government need to know like we need to face the reality. Like there's problem.
Yeah.
You understand? And there's a
Yeah.
problem so because youths are going to grow, even the rest of the world, they are positioning themselves like, oh, what can we invest in some of these emerging technology that are just getting jobs. We can't escape it. See, uh AI is not like Web3. Yes, a lot of AI startups are going to fail, but some of them are going to succeed. And we're going to see them replicate a lot of job faster. But we can still see opportunity right now if we find a way to invest in this.
I agree. And you actually said something that brings me to a question that was sent earlier. You talked about how we need to create jobs, and for that to happen, it takes an entrepreneur to actually create job, even if they create job for themselves and then hire a few people and create for them. So this is a question that came from Samson. So now he's very early in the stage. So he says he's a very early stage startup with near zero funds, and they're about to develop their MVP and proof of concept. Now imagine a company like that. So he's asking, what's your advice on getting tech talent on their team? What are the things that he can consider? Because he probably has almost very bare minimum budget, but he still needs quality talent. For someone like that, what should they be considering in terms of talent to grow their own solution?
So people like that is one of the reasons why we started Alt School. Alt School has a lot of amazing talent. Like you can reach out, we can find a way to continue with you. We even want to get to a place where we're going to set a public place where people can also get talent to say, hey, I'm working on something exciting. Do you want to join me? However, when you're looking for talent, if you want dedicated talent, equity is not enough. Your
Yeah.
reality is the equity of your company is zero at the
Yeah,
moment.
at that
So
stage.
face that reality, you need to look for something to give these people, no matter how small, for them to also keep their lights on. So for people, and that's what I do at the early stage, I always look for something to make sure you can go and to your friends and family and faithful or fools to look for small money to support you to get talent. And when you are raising money at the early stage, it's talent you're actually looking to get. But
Yeah.
don't expect a talent to just come 100% and say, oh, I want to work within your idea. It's noble, it's amazing, and all I will take is stock. It's difficult. That's the truth. That's just the truth. No matter people can you can tell people like, please, I will subsidize it. I'll give you something small. Excuse me. I'll give you something small. Then from there, you can actually get equity for the rest as much as possible. We are building this, and you get a co-founder. The easier way is also to get co-founder, which we are going to educate on. Hey, this is important. Let's build this. But it's just what it is. You need to look for something to give the talent. But you can reach out to us at
Yeah.
Alt School. We'll find a way to maybe we connect to one of the graduates, one of our alumni that are interested in that. But the most important thing, you still need to look for something. If not, that person will be looking for his or our daily bread while looking making
Yeah.
your project as much. You won't even see dedication.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because I mean, that person is a human being that has bills to pay. I'm just putting a note for Samson. If you're online, you've heard that Dewale says you can reach out to him, but I'm also just noting
You can
it
reach
so
out to the
that
company, not me. So mostly.
yeah,
But you can reach out. You can reach out. It's just like I have a crazy calendar these days. Trying to run my company at the end of the day. So
I know. Three, you had three. Like it's not easy. Like you're committed to the founder life.
uh,
So it's really cool. Zoroa wrote something, and I think you've also even like mentioned it a bit. I was talking about the economic power of people is important, and what is the economic power of a typical Nigerian. I think you covered that when you mentioned the GDP as well. So, when you look at the future of Africa, right? Let's not just look at the future of work or the future of the world. Africa is, the world. They're thinking of going to space, building a colony on Mars, and we're still dealing with electricity, like good roads and just basic stuff. Like our problems are really, really different. But when you imagine Africa, let's say 10 years from now, what do you imagine it to be?
yeah, what do you imagine it to be? Whenever I see report here, I always notice like whenever people are reporting about us, they're always reporting our potential. And I remember vividly, like more than 10 years ago or something, when we had this vision 2020 was one of the best things that happened. Oh my God, Vision 2020 for this, for that. 2020, this is 2024. And
Yeah.
that vision died. We literally got to that 2020 and nobody said there's no vision 2020.
COVID happened.
For me, I've actually looked at the world and I realized like sometimes I hope the world is the other developed company are not deceiving us. Because whenever you see the chart and you always see, oh, this is Africa, this is Africa. And this year alone, within 6 months now, right now, our currency has experienced 100% devaluation.
Yeah.
100%. So the question now becomes like, are those, do we want us to project reality or we just want to be optimistic? But here's one thing I know about Africa is in the next 10 years, people will get to see African talents as solid talents to work with. We also will be able to build some things. You understand? We'll be able to build some infrastructure that will be able to enable the talents and be able to power the talent. And we will get to a place where everything we're building is reliable. You understand? And also people trust the market. And we are able to compete. We are also able to we're able to think like the rest of the world, like, oh, how are we doing? But there's the other side of that future, which is the world is not waiting. The world is not stopping for anybody. Right now, nobody is waiting for anything. They're not waiting for Africa to get better. They're not waiting for Africa to fix their mess or anything. So the world just keep getting better. And here's the thing: some of the things we've developed, we've invested, we depend on for a very long time are going, which is for a very long time. It's been oil. It's going. See, do you see how the rest of the world is having plans for electric vehicles? Right now, for
Yeah.
1 in 10 vehicles moving around on the streets in the US or UK now are electric vehicles, and we are still depending on what is gone. So I see, I'm
Yeah.
very optimistic. I'm one person that is very, very always believe in the potential, but also we need to find a way to fix a lot of things, a lot of our mess,
Yeah.
and we need that the world is not waiting. And we have a talent. See, if we don't use the talent, the rest of the world will use the talent. My job is just to find a way to make sure I build a bridge that people will get over to be able to use that talent. Because my job
Is
is
it
not committed to anything; it's committed to the talent.
to the talent itself? I think it's quite
That's a
that
commitment. I'm not committed to
that
any government.
that, that
So
you just said is quite interesting. Like if we don't use the talent, other people would actually use it for
other people,
us and
they,
use it to
yeah,
build other things. And
exactly.
yeah, that's actually interesting, right? Because
That's it.
you know they pay better, they have better like career experience for the talent. Like why would they stay here versus there, right? That's
Yep.
quite interesting. So we're almost at top of the hour, like we're almost at time. There is one more question here that we will take, but for everyone that is joining in, thank you so much for joining in. We have Adewale here. We've been talking about creating a sustainable and upskill talent pipeline in Africa. It's brought to you by Tana. Remember, you can join and register your business in the Tana zone, and we provide a more enabling business jurisdiction for you to do great work with great benefits like tax incentives and also being able to repatriate your capital, operate in FX, which helps protect you from currency volatility. So go to etana.africa to learn more. We're happy to onboard your business and help you do really great work, at least take away some of the hurdles that you're experiencing. And there's a question here from Oma, and she's asking, at all school, do you also train art talents and AI talents in any specific fields?
Yep. So yeah, we do AI talent. We're launching something exciting, not now. I mean, I think it will be part of our Q1 2025 plans. And but here's the thing I always tell people, you see, AI is built on different data tool and data set at the end of the day. So the most important
Yeah.
thing is you start with the basic. We're not some of the arts, art is different. It's not, I don't think art is now sketching. So we have some stuff we are launching in different skills. I keep telling people, and this, let me repeat it again, we are not a tech school. We are a skill school. If tomorrow the talent that is needed is plumbing, you all school will train a lot of people to get plumbing job. And because for me, the problem I'm solving, the problem I'm trying to solve right now is opportunity. Like, is opportunity. How can I people get jobs? So yes, we having AI talent. I don't want to talk about AI because a lot of people just we started now and they are rushing into AI. AI is not the first thing you need to learn. There are a lot of skills
Yeah.
you need to that need to build up to AI because at the end of the day, AI, there are a lot of models. Everybody will use AI. We've been using AI for a very long time. It wasn't just commercial. You understand? Whenever you use your face to open a phone, it's AI you've been using. A lot of them. Now, what OpenAI did that everybody just turned around at the world and everybody is screaming is because they just make the language, the large language model, LLM, available
Mm.
and commercially available. You understand? Big companies have been using it before this. But all I'm saying is there are a lot of steps. When you go to our school, start with the first one as much as possible, then go into others. Everybody is excited about AI, and I want to make sure people do reality check. AI is here to stay, but you need to find your field. How am I going to leverage on AI? In my own field, am I going to build AI as much as possible? And as I said on the skills as well, in the future, if all we need to, the next job that is available in the market is AI instructor. All school will train AI instructor. We still, if it's AI, having AI partner, all school we will train any job that will give people opportunity, any skill that will give people job. That's my job.
Yeah.
And my job, literally my job at the company is to get people job and make sure people have jobs. And there's nothing that will make me happy than seeing 100,000, 200,000 people. They don't need to earn, they just need to earn $1,000 or even less a month, and
To start. Yeah.
I'm a, I will be a happy person. I will be smiling all through my life. That's it. So
Amazing. 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 So to me, old school is building literally the talent workforce and the future talent workforce. And that future keeps changing. So whatever it is,
it should
you'd
keep
adjust to
changing.
be able to do that.
That's it.
So I think that's really amazing.
Mm.
So we're almost at time. I just want to thank everyone for joining in. It's been a really great session. Thank you, Adewale. I know you're on leave, and I know we dragged you into this, but I'm truly grateful for you being here and just sharing your wisdom. I know you're very
For
passionate about
having me.
talent and building talent. So we're so
Thank you.
grateful to have you here. Do you have any last comments you want to share? Any last nuggets you want to share before we
Uh,
wrap up?
the honest truth, I really don't have much, but what I want to say to people is people shouldn't be. Okay, now you're back. So for me, it's just like we live in an exciting times. You know, whenever people look back, I always see people always say, "Oh, good old days, good old days, good old days," and I know it's definitely a lot of things are good old days, especially in a market like Africa and Nigeria, where we have to think back what used to be, but also we need to embrace the reality and focus on the future because you can't keep saying good old days and the future will come to you. You like it or not, the future will come to
Yeah.
you. And the most important thing is, what is the role of Africa in this future? And I'm honestly tired of seeing the rest of the world telling the potential of Africa, the potential of Africa. Potential is exciting, but can we talk about reality? Because at the end of the day, if we raise money with that potential and we eat with that reality, and we are not able to find alignment and balance, it becomes major issue. And for me, I see a lot of opportunity on the continent of Africa because this is the market that is not saturated. The rest of the world have been built, they are saturated. So the potential for us
Yeah.
is Itana is building like a community now, for example. It's difficult to build things in some places because you see people have built Silicon Valley, some of those things. But we haven't built. So this is opportunity. So let's be excited about it. Let's go forward with that mindset.
Awesome. Awesome. I think that's amazing. I think it's a great point to end it. Thank you so much again. Thank you everyone in the comments. And we would have this somewhere on YouTube as well, so you can go and rewatch and take notes. But thank you everyone for being here. Truly grateful for all the comments. Omar, Randolph, Zorowa. Thank you everyone. Samson who sent the question earlier. And we hope that you have a beautiful day. Go to eternal.africa and join the Eternal 100. And again, register your business in the Eternal Zone. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to support you every step of the way. And thank you, Adewale. Do enjoy the rest of your evening, everyone.
You
Bye,
too.
guys.